Welcome to the Brigance Screener Refresher. The purpose of this is to remind staff of the protocol when screening incoming kindergarten students. The purpose of the Brigance Screener is to help support student placement decisions and plan for student needs. Fidelity is key as we use this data to guide families with decision making. You may take notes, but do not score. We will employ a common scoring protocol with the intervention teachers. Pay attention to discontinue rules. This will help with both time and scoring. Use the blue. You will ensure common knowledge when you read the blue text. Allow students as much time as needed on each item unless otherwise specified. Pay attention to the student's speaking skills throughout the assessment to inform the final item, and remain objective. Do not provide additional assistance. Provide encouragement and praise whether or not a student responds correctly. Refer to the label for correct information. Be sure to put your name here next to where it says examiner for follow-up questions. First, we'll start with 1C, knows personal information. For the last name, you can prompt, your name is Jessica what? The home number or caregiver's cell phone is acceptable. Be sure to read the special note surrounding student's address. Be sensitive to children who may be homeless, who may live in a shelter, or who may frequently move from place to place. For 2C, names parts of the body, ask the child to name each body part as you point to it. If the child does not respond, rephrase by saying, what do you call this? And pointing again. You will discontinue after 3 incorrect responses in a row. For 3C, gross motor skills, there are 5 skills that we'll be assessing. Say, stand on one foot like this and demonstrate. If the child stands on one foot for fewer than 10 seconds, say, stand on one foot by yourself as long as you can. Start timing when the child has established a steady standing position. Stop timing when the child can no longer maintain a standing position or after 10 seconds. Allow the child 2 attempts if needed. Throughout the gross motor skill check, be sure to make observational notes regarding physical condition, types of prompts to which the child best responds. Do they follow verbal directions or do they rely on your demonstration? In addition to foot dominance, do they favor one foot over the other? You will stop the gross motor skill check after 3 skills not demonstrated in a row. For 4C, visual motor skills, you will give a copy of this form to the student along with a pencil. You will say, I want you to draw some forms for me. Draw one like this. Draw yours here. You'll pause for the child to draw the form and encourage a second attempt if needed. Do not call the forms by name or trace over them with your finger. Make notes about handedness and pencil grasp if notable. 5C, prints personal information. Using a pencil, you'll give it to the child and they will use this area. You will say, I want you to print some things about yourself. I want you to print your name. Start by printing your first name. If the child hesitates, say, try writing the first letter. If the child writes only the first letter of his or her name, say, that's the first letter, now print your name. After the child has written or attempted to write his first name, say, now I want you to print your last name. For 6C, recites the alphabet, you're going to ask the child to recite the alphabet. Pro tip, if a student starts singing the ABC song, say, I want you to say the letters, not sing them. You will stop after the first incorrect response. 7C, a child will sort objects by size, color, and shape. Arrange the objects in a random array in front of the child. Administer both items. For 8C, counts by rote, the student's going to be counting aloud. As the student counts, you'll circle each correct item. You will stop when they get to the first incorrect response. If the student does not respond, prompt, can you say the numbers for me? Count 1, 2. For 9C, students will match quantities with numerals. Place the blocks in front of the child in a random group. Point to each item and you may say, show me this many or give me this many. After 2 incorrect responses in a row, you will stop. For 10C, students are going to determine totals of 2 sets.
Say, this many dots and this many dots make how many dots?
You will stop after you have administered all 3 items. For 11C, we have a few important reminders. Students will read uppercase letters. Administer these uppercase letters first. Point to each letter in your manual starting with O. If the child says the sound rather than the letter name, say, "That's the sound the letter makes. What is the name?" If the child has difficulty focusing on a single row of letters, cover the distracting items with blank paper. If the child does not get all of the letters correct, administer lowercase. The higher of the 2 scores will be taken. If the lowercase is administered, either lowercase form is accepted for A, G, L, Q, and T. You will stop after 3 incorrect responses in a row. For 12C, students will show experience with books and text. Hand the book to the child with the spine of the book facing him or her.
When checking for understanding that text progresses from left to right, remember that you can open to any page with text on it. Point to a word in a line of the text. Any word in a line except the last word on the line, and say, which word do I read after I read this word? Also, when you have the open picture book and you point to the last word of the line of any text, except for the last line on the page, say, which word do I read after this word?
For 13C, regarding a student's verbal fluency and articulation, consider their articulation and grammar. A couple of notes. When considering the percentage of understandable speech, disregard articulation problems and incorrect grammar. Review possible observations list and bring noticings to the attention of your building speech and language therapist during purposeful play, and make notes here at the bottom regarding observations during your time with the student. You will administer both items.